I still remember the day my granddaughter asked me a question that made me pause in the middle of sipping my morning tea on the porch. The sun was shining, birds were chirping, and the gentle breeze carried the scent of roses from my garden. She looked up at me with those big, curious eyes and asked, "Grandpa, who should you live with when you get really old to be happy and live longer?" I was 92 at the time. I had lived through wars, economic downturns, the birth of the internet, and more family reunions than I could count. But that question hit me harder than any other. You see, when you're young, you think life is about achievement, building wealth, collecting accolades, and rushing toward goals. But as you cross 70, life becomes less about running and more about savoring moments, relationships, and the beauty of each sunrise. At that age, the people you choose to live with can make the difference between a life filled with warmth and laughter or one steeped in loneliness and regret. Let me tell you, in my 92 years on this earth, I've learned a few things about companionship, family dynamics, independence, and the subtle magic of community. The myth of aging alone, many seniors in America cherish their independence fiercely. We grow up in a culture that idolizes self-sufficiency, the rugged individual who can take care of themselves. But there's a hidden cost. Studies show that social isolation can be as damaging as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yes, you read that right. The lack of social interaction doesn't just make you lonely, it actually shortens your lifespan. I know a neighbor named Robert. After his wife passed away, he decided to live alone. He thought he would enjoy his solitude, tending to his garden and watching baseball games. But over time, his cheerful phone calls dwindled, his voice lost its warmth, and he started missing doctor's appointments. Within 3 years, he was gone. Meanwhile, my old friend Margaret moved in with her daughter and 2 grandchildren. First, she resisted. She thought she would lose her freedom. But now, she's 95, teaching her grandkids how to bake pies, helping with homework, and attending school plays. She glows with joy. The power of intergenerational living after 70. One of the most powerful options is living with family, especially multi-generational family setups. I know. You might think, oh, but I don't want to be a burden. That's a common worry. But what if I told you that your presence might actually be a gift? Children who grow up with grandparents around tend to develop stronger emotional intelligence and a greater sense of family history. Grandparents, on the other hand, feel a renewed sense of purpose. One of my old buddies, Carl, moved in with his son's family at age 75. At first, there were disagreements, different bedtimes, noise, diet preferences, but slowly they found a rhythm. Carl began gardening with his granddaughter, teaching her about tomatoes and sunflowers. He read bedtime stories to his grandson. The house was filled with laughter. Carl's health improved. His arthritis pain lessened. He started eating better, and his mind stayed sharper than ever. His doctor told him, "Carl, I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up." When living with family isn't an option, of course, not everyone has family to live with, or not every family situation is healthy. Some elders have strained relationships or simply prefer not to live with relatives. In such cases, I always recommend intentional community living or senior co-housing. These are not your typical old folks' homes. These are vibrant communities designed for seniors who want to live independently but still enjoy daily social interactions. You have your own space, but shared gardens, kitchens, and activity rooms. My friend Sylvia chose this path after her husband passed. She moved into a senior co-housing community where she met other retired teachers, nurses, and artists. They organized art classes, book clubs, and even group travel. Sylvia started painting again, something she hadn't done since her 20s. She said, "I feel more alive now than I did at 60. Choosing to live with a friend, here's an option, not an It was a big adjustment. I had to get used to noise, toys scattered everywhere, and teenagers arguing over phone chargers. But over time, I became the heart of the household. I taught my grandson to play chess, helped my granddaughter prepare for her piano recitals, and even started baking sourdough bread with my son-in-law. On weekends, we played board games, shared stories, and watched old movies together. I wasn't just existing, I was living. Now, at 92, I still wake up every day with something to look forward to. A hug from my granddaughter, a cup of tea with my daughter, or a stroll in the garden with my great-grandchild. Final thoughts from a 92-year-old. Heart at 70, life offers you a second youth, a time to grow, bond, and cherish connections. Choose to live with people who make you laugh, who challenge your mind, and who warm your heart. It might be your children, grandchildren, siblings, old friends, a new partner, or even a loving pet. Don't let fear of being a burden stop you. Most of the time, your presence is a blessing, not a weight. Remember, the measure of a life well lived isn't in dollars or possessions. It's in shared meals, whispered secrets, hearty laughter, and quiet, comforting moments when you know you're not alone. So, my dear, when you're deciding who to live with after 70, don't just think about who can take care of you. Think about who makes your soul sing. That's the secret to a longer, happier life. And that, my friend, is coming straight from the heart of a 92-year-old who's still dancing to his own tune on the porch every morning.